I'm Stacey Godbold, the host of the Safety Pro Roundtable podcast, and I'm here with Jean Ndana, the Regional EHS Manager for Michigan Seamless Tube. And I'm so happy that you're here. I've heard such wonderful things about you, and I'm really looking forward to hearing your story.
Thank you, Stacey.
You're so welcome. Okay, so I would love for you to start off with telling a little bit about your background, how you got into safety, and then tell your story about MST. You made a pretty significant transition in safety at the organization, and I'm really looking forward to hearing all about that. So tell us about your background.
Sure. First of all, I'm happy to be here. This is my first podcast. I hope I'm a little bit nervous, but I think everything will go well. I am an engineer by training. I have an industrial engineering background. And I studied in France. I grew up in Africa. I was raised and born in Africa. I grew up there, and I went to college in France. After my master's degree in industrial engineering, I landed a job at a French company specialized in oil exploration and gas. So my first job was in the oil and gas industry. So my experience spans across multiple industry, oil and gas, food, construction, automotive, and now steel manufacturing. In addition to safety, I did a lot of project management. I'm a certified project manager. I did a lot of operational excellence, lean manufacturing. I'm a Six Sigma black belt. So how I end up in safety? Early in my career, I was an offshore manager. I was working for that oil company. I was in charge of a medium-sized offshore platform. One day, one of our millwright was welding something and it's cutting, and he cut his finger. I did an investigation, and the president of the region came a few days after the incident and asked me what happened. I started telling him what happened, and he stopped me on my track and said, no, that's not what happened. I keep continuing and tell hey, the guy was trying to weld and he was cutting. He has his hand on the path of the saw, and somehow he cut his saw. He stopped me and said, no. You know what happened? He asked me. I said, no, what happened? He told me, hey, because he has a site manager, you didn't create the safe condition for this guy, to prevent this type of incident from happening. So that's what happened. So it's your fault. That was like a waking call for me. I say, really? Is it my fault? Somebody is grinding, doing his job, and I'm not even there because I'm the manager of the place, and it's my fault. So I was very young. It was early in my career. So that's how I end up in safety. I say, from now on, I'm going to focus on safety. And end up even transitioning, moving from the production, the project department where I'm doing to focus on safety. And as many of you may know, and many people know, safety in the oil industry is very, very critical. A single mistake can be a devastating effect. So that's how I end up in safety. And I end up in safety taking that plunge to make sure that this type of incident won't happening again, so people won't go through the same trial and tribulation this young man went through with his family, because he spent at least a month off work, and there was a reduce in income because he was not working. So to put it another way, I would say that I became a safety professional or practitioner as other people become monk or poet, as a devotional practice, as a lifelong commitment to create, to find tools, technique, practices to prevent people from getting hurt. So that's it. That's how I end up myself in safety.
So how long have you been at MST?
A little bit over 3 years. As I was hired at MSD was in 2019, January. When I arrived there,
So
there
what was,
were, sorry?
go ahead. I want to
Okay,
hear
I say
all the things.
when I arrived at MST, that was in January 2019. Doing what I learned, based on what I learned during the hiring process, I knew that they were in dire need of a great safety change, because I learned a lot of things during the hiring process. They were besieged by deep and serious safety-related challenges. And to give you an example, 10 days after my arrival, there was a fatality at the plant. A guy fell inside an acid vat. I say 10 days. So I was still looking around, trying to find where things are, and I have this hot potato on my plate. The guy fell on the acid vat. I didn't even know him because I didn't have time to know all of it. It was 10 days after my arrival. So just to give you an example, an idea of how things were, the challenges that we're facing.
At
I'm
that
sure
time,
you.
were you questioning your decision to be there?
Yes, when that incident happened, as I say, I knew that they were facing some tough safety related challenges, but I didn't know the magnitude of those challenges. So when the incident happened, that was a kind of a wake up call for me and say, oh my God, where do I find myself into? That's how I started looking deeper, because 10 days I didn't really have time to go. It's a huge plan. 3 shift, very, very huge plan, 3 shift. And the plan has been there since 1927. So in 5 years, we'll be 100 years old. So with all equipment, people that have been there for 30, 40, 50 years. So, yes. So, yes, I didn't know the exact magnitude of the issue, but that incident came to tell me, hey, my friend, wake up now. This is real. To be honest, I was a little bit afraid of the task. I would start questioning myself. Am I going to be successful here? Do I have all the aptitude, the skills to because before me, several safety professionals came there and they didn't last. They were spending less than a year. They didn't know they was going, and I started questioning myself. Hey, many people have failed here. Am I going to succeed? And there were so many nights where I was thinking, questioning if it was the right move for me, if I'm going to succeed, if I'm going to turn the place around. And yes, there was some moment like that.
So I can imagine it felt like, how do you eat an elephant? That's what they say. Like, how do I change this organization? Probably felt like a magnitude of a challenge. How did you start that process in your mind, like in terms of your mindset, and in terms of what were those steps that you took?
Yeah, that's a good question. So after those moments where I was doubtful, fearful, not sure if I will be able to turn things around, and I convinced myself that, hey, if I managed to be selected as because we went through a hiring process, I was not the only one. So it was kind of a serious hiring process. And I tell myself, hey, maybe if I was able to be the successful candidate, that means that I'm up to the task. I can do this. So, and I've been, oil industry, I've seen things in the past, but not at this level of magnitude, but something like that. But okay, I'm already there here. I need to try, but at least I try. If I fail, I will say that I did my best and try. So the process started with the diagnosis of the underlying causes of the situation. So you arrive up somewhere, and I need to know what's going on the floor level. Why what I'm seeing? What are the root causes, the underlying causes of this situation? So I start to diagnose the situation to assess what's going on. So I start talking to people, I start interviewing people, I start reviewing record, Michigan OSHA previous citation. I start doing observation, all those type of things. Now, after that initial phase, and you need to be very careful there. I will talk about that later a little bit, about the mindset. So I did the initial assessment to understand the underlying causes, the root cause of this situation. You will see I found things like fatalism. They were telling, hey, this is still, accident will always happen. And we have been in that's just I told her, this is fatalism. Hey, there's nothing we can do. There's still, it's hot, it's heavy industry, it's dangerous, things will happen, accident will happen no matter what. So another thing is that I found was the macho mindset. Is mostly dominated by men. There are still some ladies, but few, but it's mostly dominated by men, and they have that macho mindset that, hey, we are men of steel. There's a difference between a real accident or a real injury with a scratch or something like that. Hey, this is nothing. You just put the glue on it and you go back to work. You cut yourself, you just put a glue on it, you put the Band-Aid, you go back. So the thing that they were thinking that they were invincible, things like that. That's I call it the macho mindset. And the scars were something to brag about. Hey, I've been this for 12 years. Look what happened to me. So people lost fingers. There were people, multiple amputation. People were looking at, hey, that's the price we need to pay to get this thing. So by talking, by investigating, so that's of course, and there was also fear to change. Those were the roadblocks I have. Fear to change. People they don't want to change. They have been doing this for many, many years, so it became normal to them. So there was kind of a normalization of deviation. Things like people were passing trash cans that were overfilling. Nobody even bothered. The bathrooms were not, people don't care about those little things like that. So after the assessment, the investigation, that were first steps. And the second step was to craft the vision. Now that I know where I am, what's going on, what is the next step is to craft the vision. Where do we want to go? That was key too. And many safety professionals, if they ask them what is the safety vision, they will sometimes they don't grasp it, they don't get it clear. It's nebulous. They think that the safety vision is maybe an academic exercise. It's not. The safety vision is not a piece of a company mission statement. It's not a piece of a business plan. It's not a strategic plan. The safety vision is not a metaphysical discussion with the universe. That's not what the safety vision is. For me, a safety vision is an inspiring, compelling description of what success from a safety standpoint means for you 3 years, 4 years, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the road. That's what the safety vision is the inspiring, compelling description of what success means to you from a safety standpoint. And when you need to be crystal clear about the attributes of the workplace, the safety culture you want to build. Just imagine you have a floating carpet. You're floating above your company 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the road. What did you see when safety improved? What will people start doing, stop doing, continue doing? What will your employee be doing, or your workplace will look like? What will the employee doing at lunch at noon or 12:30 when they're having lunch in the cafeteria? What will they talk about? When they're talking about your safety, what are they talking about? What is even your contractors, your vendors, that's where you're working with. They're coming, they're visiting your plan. What are they telling from a safety standpoint? What will manager and your CEO will be doing? What will be the behavior, safety promoting behavior that will embody, will start doing things like that? That's what safety vision is. And we created so things like I want to become the safest company in America. That's not, for me, that's not a good vision. You don't envision anything. What does that mean, to be the safest company in America? We want to be the leader in safety. If that's your vision, what does that mean? People should be able to understand, to vision. That's why it's called vision, to see. And it should be inspiring. They need to be able to wake up in the morning and energized, galvanized to go and work to achieve that vision. So that was the definition of, that's why I explained what a vision is. And for us, I'll give you a summary of what the vision is. On top of my head was through coaching, training, accountability, we're going to create a workplace that is organized, tidy, and where everyone feels achievers. Achiever is an acronym, which is appreciated, cared for, heard, involved, empower, value, and safe. So that was our vision. And it's done in a collaborative way. It's not me sitting in my office and crafting a vision. You need to involve people. So a vision is when you see vision through this way, it becomes a tool. You see, it becomes a tool. That's your first tool to involve people, because you cannot do everything alone. You need to involve, you need to engage the people. So your first step to engage them is, hey guys, let's sit down and describe our future safety-wise. What do we want this place to look like, to smell like, to taste like? That's the safety vision. So that was the second step. The third step is, how do we get to the vision now? So you know what is going on. You have identified the underlying causes, the root cause of the situation. Why these people are having this fatalism mindset, macho mindset. They don't want to follow. They're walking, passing, unsafe condition, unsafe act, nobody cares, and so on. So those are manifestations. By doing the assessment, by talking to people and interviewing them, you did the assessment. You have what's going on. Now you know what we are. You need now to draft the future. Where do you want to go now? That's what the safety vision. Now, how do we get to the safety vision, to the vision? And I call the vision there the promised land. So this is our promised land. I took that picture from, and that's what it is. This is where we are shooting for. This is our cathedral we want to build. That's what the safety vision is. You can remove safety and put maybe financial vision. That would be the same concept. Remove safety, put anything else, that will be the same thing. So I use vision as a tool. I would tell, maybe I will have a chance to talk to you about that later on, but it was a tool. So first thing, how do we get there? You need to involve people. You need to get, management was already on board. Sometimes people have tough time to convince management, hey, we need to invest in safety. So I have lucky, the CEO, the vice president, in charge of administration, HR, and safety, all those big guns, big wigs were already on board. So that was great. So, and the first thing, I did a lot of stuff. So I'm going to tell you some few things I did to involve my people. So first, I started by involving them in crafting the vision. What I did, for example, I took some groups of hourly people, maybe groups of 5, 10, maybe 2 or 3 groups of 5 people. I told them, hey, imagine MST has been designated the safest company in America. That's a headline of a magazine or a newspaper. What do you want to see inside that newspaper? What do you like people, the writer, the author of that paper, how do you want them, which word do you want him to use to describe MST safety, the people, what we are doing and so on. So people start designing their future, the future that inspired them. Things like, hey, we want an environment where workers are encouraged to report hazard. That's one of the attributes of safety. Okay, that's our vision, we incorporate that. We want a place where we have a revamped, customized, new hire orientation. That's part of a vision. We want a place where people are treated as a human being first, an employee second. That's part of a vision. We want a place where management and workers, because we are a union plan, are working together to fix safety issue. So when we want a place where we have a sense of urgency, safety-wise, that means that each time a safety challenge or safety issue is reported, we don't drag our feet. We as management, we fix it as much as possible. So that's a sense of urgency. Those were the attribute of what people were saying. But maybe they were not saying that way, but after that you arrange, you read, and so on to capture the meaning of what they're saying. So that's how I involved them. I started involving hourly people to do that. Another tool that I used was I launched a near-miss program because they were not reporting near misses. And I investigated what was the cause and so on. And it will be too long to explain, but I'll be more than happy to give the details to people who are interested. So they were not reporting it. So I launched a near-miss program. What I did, I changed the name. Instead of near-miss, we start calling good catches. I changed the definition of near-miss.
It's positive.
We all know
now.
the sorry?
I said it's a positive thing. Instead of a
near
miss, it's a good catch as a positive. Yeah.
And it includes, that definition included unsafe condition and unsafe act. Because if you take the definition of OSHA about the near miss, is an event that's happened, but luckily nobody was hurt. So for OSHA and all of the near miss is an event. But an oil puddle that is there on the walkway, if nobody sleep on it, there's no event. See? For me, it's a good catch. If you see, hey, there's an oil puddle over, you don't need to wait for somebody to try to sleep on it and catch it himself before falling to say, hey, there was a near miss that happened. Let's go and investigate what happened. An oil puddle on the walkway, for me, is a near miss. Is a good catch. You need to catch it before something bad happens. So I expanded the definition of near miss. The definition is on top of my head here. It's like something I'm uncomfortable with, a situation, an object I'm uncomfortable with that when we solve it or we fix it, result in a positive and a positive workplace, things like that. But that's the meaning. I don't have the wording in front of me, rightly, but that's the definition of the something I am uncomfortable with. That if
when
we
you
fix
rolled
that,
this kind of change out, how did you do that? Because I'm sure that there, as you're doing something new, a new process, you're informing your people about it, or first of all, how did you inform your people about the new change? And how did you navigate it personally before you were getting ready to make a change? Were you just confident and ready to go? Were you kind of nervous and what's going to happen?
No,
How did you, what was that?
That's a good question. So I changed the definition, and to roll it out, that's because that was your question. How do you roll out a program? I started with the management team. I say the general manager, all the managers, I train them. That's my approach. This is the new definition and so on. They ask me a lot of questions, answer, I fine-tune it. So that's the first layer, because the managers, the production managers, we have different departments. There will be finish department, cold draw department, hot mill department. This is still managers that are building them. So you need to train them. You need to explain to them. That's where I started. So I need to win their buy-in there. So I explained to them exactly my approach. How am I going to do it? The definition and so on. I took some pictures of so they can see. This is what, if I see a flying wheel that is supposed to have, for example, 4 bolts, one is missing. So you only have 3 bolts. For me, it's a near miss because I'm comfortable with this. I was telling them, a near miss is something I'm comfortable with, something that is working the way it was not supposed to work, or the way it's not designed to work. Something that I'm struggling with, I'm fighting with, something that interferes with my ability to do my job safely and productively. That's a definition of near miss. So I will break it down there, give them the example, and say, for example, if I have a piece of paper, an instruction, maybe English is not my native language, but it's written in English, but I cannot understand it. It becomes a near miss for me. I'm uncomfortable with. I don't understand. So they need to break it down or find the way to write it there in a level that I can understand. So that was a near miss. So I explained that to the manager. I went down now to the supervisor, frontline supervisor. Same training. I explained them. I make it comfortable so they can own it. I answered their question, all their fears, so they didn't discover it as the frontline people. So I went step by step. Now I attack the frontline employee, not as all of them, by groups. So I divided the plan normally by shift and by group. In each shift, I went by groups of people. Night shift, morning shift, afternoon shift. I say this time is I take a group of 20, for example, people. I explain, I clear their fear and say this is it. And for them, I took a lot of pictures on the plan. Those were not makeup pictures. I say I went on the plan, I took pictures of things that I thought it was near misses. Like I told you, for example, a control panel that have labels that have unreadable, not legible, dirty. A water fountain that is nasty, not clean. For me, is a near miss. So I took those pictures. I was showing to them, this is what I'm talking about. This is a near miss. This is the definition of a near miss. This is things I'm talking about. Something you are not comfortable with. Something that is not normal. Something that is the way it was not designed to work. It's something, if a machine makes some funny noise, it was not supposed to have that noise, you need to report it because that's a warning sign, something. So that's where I roll it up. So of course, you cannot get 100%, but I got the vast majority of employee because it was done easily, slowly, on good. So when they came in, it was not a surprise. The supervisor were already on it. The manager were already on it. The senior leadership were already aware of it and so. And that was not so after the rollout, anything I did also, I made the reporting form very easy to do. So during the training, we did some, when I was rolling out, we did some training how to fill the reporting form out, how to fill it out. This is, of course, I asked them, I don't want names of people. I just want name of the observer, the person that is reporting. If you see Jean or Stacey doing something that is not safe, you can talk to Stacey and report it, but don't mention Stacey's name because I don't want people to think that they're out there to catch them snitching on them and so on. It's a union plan. If you do that, you're ruining all your things. So I just want the information so other people can learn from the mistakes that Stacey or Jean was making at that time. So another thing that I did in the same program, I changed the color of the reporting form. If you go out there, most of the reporting form are normal white paper color, right? If you go on plan, as well, I took a yellow reporting form. It was a half. I can tell you it was like this. I took a normal piece of paper, but cut it in half. So but in yellow. So I wanted a color that stands out. And you put it everywhere. It was put everywhere, all the break rooms, all the throughout the plan. So somebody cannot say that I didn't find a way to report it. So it was everywhere. And it was not the thickness of the paper. It was not the normal thickness. It was the kind of a thickness of your business card. So somebody can still, without a paper clip or a clipboard, without a clipboard, somebody can still hold that thing and write something down on it and say, hey, I've seen this. A key, before I finish this question, I cannot do that without mentioning the key of that. Is that when people start reporting, they need to get feedback. So when I launched that near miss reporting, I also started doing what I call weekly progress meeting. Every week, I was telling people how we are doing. So those are, I don't have time to do that, but those are different keys, tools, important. Every week, I was telling people, these are we're maybe 20, 30, 100 observation cards we're turning. And I was doing those progress meetings in groups, not the whole plant. Again, don't do that in the whole plant. Do that in little groups of 30 people, 20, 25, 30 maximum. So that's how you connect with each person. So you neutralize those who are toxic people. Because if you bring everybody in one way, the toxic people can spoil the whole barrel. Okay, so you may end up in a group where you don't have any toxic people. That's great. So those will be your early adopters, those who will adopt your program and start going with it. Now, if you have another group where, because you know how to put it, you get maybe one or two toxic people, that's good. Maybe they will just try to corrupt the other people, but you fight with the weekly meeting was a kind of a tool to tell people, hey, we are making progress. Don't listen to naysayers. Look, in those meetings, I was going with before and after picture. I was showing before and after picture. Stacey reported this. We fixed it. This was a before picture. This is after. Jean said this. This is a before. This is after. No matter how small it is, you don't care as long as you're showing progress, because research studies have seen that there's nothing that motivates people more than progress. No matter how small it is, if you're making progress, you are motivated. So the naysayer will want to say, hey, this doesn't work. No, it works because we saw the before and after picture. And where you cannot, because some issue needs more time. You know what I was doing when it needed more time? I was talking about that. It says, Stacey reported this. Where to fix that, we need to buy. And this is a purchase order that was issued. This is a response. I was showing them emails from vendors telling us, hey, this is coming. We're going to be delivered in 2 weeks, in 1 week. So I was making invisible job. That's some safety professional they are doing. When you order, the things are not there. People may think that you are just dragging your feet, you are not doing anything. You need to show them all that, hey, this is the PO, the CEO, the plant manager already approved it. We order it. It's on the way. They told me that the ETA is this. As you tell people, so they see action. So that's to answer your question. That's a long answer, but I like to be practical so people can see how it works. So every week, progress meeting on small groups. It takes a lot of time. That's a lot of talking because many people will want to have one setting where they talk to all the people, right? It doesn't work that way if you want to get real result and fast. So I was going on night shift every week, Sunday night. I was sleeping at the plant. I was coming to work at every Sunday at 10 p.m. The shift started at 11. I was on the plant at 10 p.m. to do the meeting with night shift. That's where I started, night shift. Every single week, I was spending my night at the plant. So that gave me time to mingle with night shift people. I knew every single employee in that plant. I still know them because I spent so much time with them. I did a lot of every week. So those are the things. And during the day, sometime I stand at the time clock telling people, thank you, Stacey, for working safe. Thank you for being so tolerant. Thank you. Just by doing so, when you just say thank you and you call somebody by his name, you made that person a day. So people, and I wish I could have seen a thing. I see my something, the plan. I have my phone number, cell phone number, posted everywhere. People were sending me texts at midnight. Sometimes I was sleeping, but I was not awake. So when I wake up, I say, Jean, I've seen this. This is this. I said, thank you, Stacey, for doing this. I'm going to take care of it as soon as possible and come back to you with the answer. So that's how it works. So that's why we're able to get a lot of work.
Do you think, so as we wrap this up, what I'm hearing is that engaging your people is obviously the most important thing, was what I'm hearing, but also that they feel heard.
That was part of the vision. In our vision, that the acronym Achiever, the H there is for heard. Being appreciated, cared for, included, empower, heard. Yeah. People need to, this is a normal human being feeling. We want to be part of something bigger than ourselves.
Yes.
So that vision, that promised land is bigger, and we would like to work for that. It's like the cathedral that we are building, the vision. So when somebody think that they're part of something bigger than themselves, we like that. We like to contribute. And you need to make them feel that they are part of. I made them feel valued. Even I knew the answer. When I was talking to them, I would say, hey, Stacey, I'm shopping for ideas. I would like to do this. What idea do you have for me? If you ask you to do this, even I knew the answer. I've tried to. There's something, maybe we're going to do another podcast about it. I call to have an up-to-the-task mindset. That was another key, because you cannot be physically present, physically ready if you're not mentally ready. And that up-to-the-task mindset.
Everything that you know.
So that up-to-the-task mindset. Yeah. So that up-to-the-task mindset, I have multiple facets. I just want to touch about one here because we don't have time. That facet is to embrace what I call, what was somebody called servant leadership. So one of them is to look at your people as your customer. So I was looking our employee as my customer. When somebody brings an issue to my attention, I don't put my hand and say, oh my God, these people again. I don't feel like I'm their safety dumpster. There where they dumps all those safety issue problems. No, I was not feeling that way. When somebody brings an issue to my attention, I say, thank you, Stacey. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I start feeling a privilege. I say, this person believes in me. This person believes that I can fix this, I can make this place safer and better. I need to deliver. I was thinking them because they were my customer. When somebody knock at the door, I don't say, oh, an interruption. I don't see them as an interruption to my work. I see them, they're the reason why I'm there. They hire me to fix that. So they are not an interruption to my work. They are the reason for my work. So that's the some of the aspect of the up to the task mindset. I wrote an article that will be published by American Society about that, the up to the task mindset. So you see your people as customer.
I think that's difficulty that I've never heard. I love that. I love that so much, that this is your customer. This is why you're here. You're there to serve them. They're not interrupting your day. Exactly. I think that's really, really beautiful.
And if you get that, you behave differently, right? Because if you see them as an interrupter, as soon as they knock at your door, your mood changes. So, oh my God, another problem is coming, right? That's how you feel it.
I can feel that way about my children sometimes. Maybe I need to change my mindset. Like, they're interrupting me, but maybe I need to change my mindset. They're my customer.
You're your customer. You and then say, hey, honey, what can I do for you?
Yeah, I love it.
That's how you do it. And there's another aspect of that mindset is that you always want to find every situation is an opportunity for greatness or to do something good. Maybe to reward, maybe to practice patience, maybe to practice self-control if somebody is voicing his anger because things have not been taking too much time to be fixed, or telling her this place is never going to change and so on. Don't lose your self-control with that, and say, hey, so I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry for you that you're frustrated. Believe me, we're going to fix it. It's just because it's so. Every situation is an opportunity to practice. I want to say greatness, but I'm looking for the better word. But either is self-control, either is you reward, you encourage, you practice empathy. That's also an up to the task mindset thing that you need to have. So yes, I can go on. So we launch near miss program. We launch even a behavior-based program. Same thing. That is different from what we used to, because the current way that people use for me is, maybe it works. If it works, that's fine. For me, is where they ask you to take a piece of paper. You go out there. You tell Jean, would you mind if I observe you for 1 minute or 30 minutes doing, or 5 minutes doing your job? For me, I don't know how this works, but if it works for a company out there, that's great, because we always know that when people observe, they change their behavior.
Oh,
So
absolutely. I do.
you see, exactly. So we didn't do that. The way we did it was we trained people, same thing like we did for near miss, because our near miss is either on safe condition or on safe act. And when we say on a safe act, we train them to deliver what we call a care message. If I see you doing something that is not safe, I send you the care message. I say, Stacey, I'm comfortable with this. I'm comfortable with the fact that you're using a chair to try to change this light bulb instead of using a step ladder, for example. I don't think, hey, Stacey, I care about you, but I don't think it's safe to do this and that. So I'm not judging you, but I'm explaining I'm saying, this is my perception. This is how I feel. I don't think it's safe to, I'm not saying that you're not safe. So we train them, we do some role play so they can do that. And it worked fine. And we made them, we made some funny stuff. Like, hey, if you see somebody, don't turn the other way. We'll send a care message. And we made some banners where we say, silence doesn't change anything. Silence is deemed approval. Silent, by speaking up, you're changing our workplace one voice at a time. We made banners everywhere so people can see it. So we make it fun and so on. So we did a lot of things. We have crossword puzzles. That's our safety crossword puzzle. So that we're doing weekly too. So when people are eating at the lunchtime, they have a crossword puzzle there. We put pencil and we have a raffle box. They can do that, and every week, if we have more than maybe 50 or 60, we do a raffle. And people can win $20 gift card, Amazon, Speedway, gas card. Lately, we have been giving a lot of gas gift card because gas price is
They're
up.
like,
So
give
people
me
have
all
been
the
enjoying
crossword
it.
puzzles. I want to do all the crossword puzzles. I need some gas.
So
This
the
has
good
been
thing
so
is that
wonderful. And
they're doing it. Yes.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So I was
I
saying
couldn't
that
hear you.
the good thing about the crossword puzzle is that they're doing it on their own time. So there was a little trick there. They're doing it on their own time when they are eating. But many participate, but only 5 will win. So that's the kind of thing. So we made different things like that. So
Well, I really appreciate your time today, and I thank you for trusting me for your first podcast, and you're you're such a great storyteller, and I really hope that you come back. I'd love to do a second episode on up to the task mindset. I think that that's a really interesting way to view that. And so where can people find you? I know you're on LinkedIn. It's Jean Ndana, Ndana,
Yes.
and you're published too, right? I mean, they can find your writing, correct?
Yes, I've published a lot. I'm not a very social media guy. Maybe I need to do something like that. Maybe I'm not a very social media guy. Maybe I need to do something like that. Maybe open a YouTube channel or something. Many people told me that, but maybe I'm old school. Maybe I need to do something else. So far, yes, just LinkedIn and my
Thank you.
writing are
And
published
we'll put a
mostly in
link to all of
American
that.
Society of Safety Professional Journal, and that's where that. But I also, I also do conferences. I'm volunteer conference, make conferences, presentation at many conferences and so on. Maybe next time when I come back, I will have the YouTube.
Well, I mean, I would, if I was hosting a conference, I would have you at the conference, and we'll put a link for everybody to find you. Jean Ndana, you are a great storyteller, and I'm looking forward to having you back. And thanks for coming on the podcast today.